For signings Erik ten Hag can make to avoid grim Roy Keane Man United prediction. Upon agreeing to take the job back in April, Erik ten Hag would have known that there is a monumental amount of work to be done to restore Manchester United to their former glories. If, on the slim chance he wasn't so sure, Red Devils legend Roy Keane took the liberty of publicly sending him an inadvertent reminder before of one of last season's many underwhelming performances during the ill-fated interim reign of Ralf Rangnick. United would go on to just about cling on to a 1-1 draw at home to fellow Big Six outfit Chelsea, but beforehand Keane suggested that ten Hag is unlikely to do any better than Rangnick with the current crop of underperforming and misfiring stars. Pressed on ten Hag's chances of getting more out of the players, Keane said, "I'd be very surprised. I think he can make slight improvements, of course. Players who have come in over last year or two, like Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane, it's been difficult for them as they've come to a team which doesn't have a good culture. It's not a good dressing room, as you can tell that with their performances. They can go for meals and be positive and say they will regroup, but you don't show it on the pitch." Keane then went on to explain what ten Hag will need to do in the transfer market. What he, ten Hag, will be looking is to get a group of players, are they on the side of the cause, hard to beat, and hopefully brings a style of play that entertains the fans and gets United back to winning, Keane added. It's a rebuilding job. He will get some money to spend, but it's getting the right players and characters in the club. As the last few months haven't been good enough. Players need to give everything for the cause, and they aren't doing that. Ten Hag will be in full agreement over the idea that any player coming into the club must be willing to operate at maximum effort at all times. That is likely why the Dutchman is seemingly prioritizing transfer targets he has already had an experience with. Mirror Football has identified 4 players United could look to sign this summer in a bid to improve the culture around Old Trafford. Frenkie de Jong, Yuri Tielemans, Tyrell Malaysia, Anthony. Erik ten Hag has secret weapon in bid to persuade Frenkie de Jong to join Man United. Erik ten Hag may be able to use a secret weapon as he bids to convince top target Frenkie de Jong to move to Manchester United from Barcelona. United are thought to have agreed a fee with the La Liga giants for the Dutch midfielder, with Barca keen to free up funds for their own overhaul. De Jong quickly became ten Hag's primary target, with midfield one of the biggest areas of weakness in United's squad. While Barca are ready to sell him and are even reportedly close to agreeing a fee with the Red Devils, De Jong has been much less keen to make the switch. But though De Jong is not currently keen to leave Barca for United, ten Hag may be able to use 2 of his United players to convince him otherwise. Those 2 players are midfielder Donny van der Beek and defender Victor Lindelof. Both Lindelof and van der Beek are also represented by De Jong's agency HCM Sports Management, which could mean that they will be able to speak to him about the merits of joining the Red Devils. The duo may be able to sell him the potential move to United, given their shared agents. That could be another angle that ten Hag uses to change De Jong's mind, coupled with their shared history at Ajax. Convincing De Jong may prove difficult though, given his so far stubborn stance on not leaving Barca. He has established himself as a key member of Xavi's side, helping Barca to secure qualification for the Champions League, a competition United will not be featuring in. That is one of a number of factors currently dissuading the 25-year-old from moving to Old Trafford. And he has made no secret of his desire to stay in Barcelona, publicly his unwillingness to join United. I will not go into that, the links to United. Not even about other names or clubs. I used to be naive and open-minded about it. I don't do that anymore. I understand that that link is made. That sum is not that difficult, it is logical, he said recently. I have enjoyed working with ten Hag at Ajax and I can't look into the future, of course. But I prefer to stay at Barcelona. That has always been my dream club and it still is. As long as I don't hear from the club management, I assume nothing is going on. It may prove difficult to do that though, given De Jong's apparently firm stance against leaving the Nou Camp. He has frequently spoken of his move to Barca as being his dream, with the lack of Champions League football at United a huge stumbling block. Erik ten Hag's next 3 transfers after Frenkie de Jong and Tyrell Malaysia deals agreed. It's taken a while, but Erik ten Hag's Manchester United blueprint is finally beginning to take shape. Changes are already being felt at the club's Carrington training base, with early starts and double sessions set to become the norm in his first pre-season in charge. And his influence on United is set to grow further, with his first signings poised to come through the door. Frenkie de Jong has long been reported as Ten Hag's top target, with the Barcelona midfielder earmarked as the centerpiece of the ambitious Old Trafford overhaul. But despite the Blaugrana's financial woes, they have played hardball in negotiations, refusing to allow the Netherlands international to leave for less than their own valuation. That staunch view has meant protracted negotiations, but United look to have finally ceded to Barcelona's demands, with a broad agreement now set to be in place. And one could quickly become 2 after a fee was agreed to sign Feyenoord defender Tyrell Malaysia. Lyon had looked set to land the 22-year-old before United intervened and matched the Dutch club's £15 million valuation. The agreement is there, Feyenoord sporting director Frank Ornsen confirmed. We are now waiting for Tyrell Malaysia. If he says yes, then a transfer to Man United is imminent. Don't expect United to stop at 2 either. Reports have strongly suggested that once a deal for de Jong gets over the line, attention will quickly revert to signing a versatile forward player. Antony remains Ten Hag's top want in that area, but Ajax are refusing to allow their title-winning team to be picked apart for no cost. Mirror Football understands that the winger could cost as much as £70 million, while United believe his true market value is closer to £40 million. De Jong is set to come into a midfield which has already lost Nemanja Matic, Paul Pogba and Juan Mata this summer. It's likely that United will look to recruit at least one more player in the middle of the park, and Christian Eriksen appears to fit the bill perfectly. He has yet to make a decision on his long-term future, with the Bees and Tottenham also said to be in the race. And while Malaysia looks set to shore up Ten Hag's options on the left-hand side of his defence, the need for a player on the opposite flank remains glaring. Both Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams have been deemed surplus to requirements, meaning that Diogo Dalot alone can play at right back. That's where Inter Milan defender Denzel Dumfries could come into play, with reports in Italy claiming United are readying a £26 million bid for his services. Like Malaysia and de Jong, Dumfries is a regular for the Netherlands and burst into prominence during last summer's European Championships. As well as being another body at fullback, he could also provide cover in the centre of Ten Hag's defence, a needed commodity considering Raphael Varane's extensive injury. Alex Telles' controversial Man United question get emphatic answer from Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag's Manchester United reign is beginning to gather pace as he identifies who he wants to bring into the club, and who wants out. Both of those things have become increasingly clear in the last 24 hours or so, with the Red Devils hijacking Lyon's efforts to sign Feyenoord left-back Tyrell Malaysia and seemingly succeeding. The young Netherlands international seemed bound for France after Lyon's third bid had been accepted, but United's pulling power proved too tempting for the 22-year-old. The Red Devils sent an 11th-hour offer worth £15 million plus £2 million in add-ons and saw it accepted by the Eredivisie side and are on course to agree personal terms with Malaysia in the coming days. If and when the Dutchman puts pen to paper, it could spell the end of another underperforming star at United. Alex Telles has occasionally appeared as if he was a capable left-back while donning the United shirt, but ever since he arrived in October of 2020 the former Porto defender has struggled to capture form on a consistent basis. For the bulk of his time in Manchester, he has been forced to deputise for Luke Shaw. For all of Shaw's own defensive frailties, he has for the most part managed to keep Telles at arm's length in the battle for the starting left-back role. It is only when the England international has been struck down with injury issues has Telles really had a solid run. It is for that reason, one of Telles' recent Instagram posts has hardly gone down well with the United faithful. The wingback made the rather questionable move of publicly pontificating whether last term had actually been a good campaign. It must be said, he was honest enough to concede it was poor from a collective standpoint but appeared to suggest he had enjoyed the club's worst season of the Premier League era from an individual perspective. Telles wrote, "Today I caught myself thinking, was this a good season? Being on a team like United brings great responsibilities. And it wasn't a good season for us, I know, far from it. But for the boy who dreamed of being a football player in Brazil, being able to complete the mark of 50 games for this club, man, I can say that it was something very important for me. Soccer is my life. Let's keep working, always trying to improve. Thank you all. The opening question has since been answered in rather emphatic fashion by Ten Hag. His efforts to sign Malaysia would suggest that he views Telles as a third-choice left-back at best, something the 29-year-old is unlikely to take kindly.